Namaskaram, everyone. Welcome back. I want to do this video because I have been challenged by somebody in the comments regarding my video on Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. I guess they just didn't like what I had to say, and they wanted some information for me to look at Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith, as well as Ayesha Curry and Stephen Curry. So let us begin. Let's break this down, since they cannot grasp about vampiric siphoning energy. And also, let me put this disclaimer. This is from, which I did in the first one, this is from a spiritual perspective, a spiritual point of view. So that should tell you how your mindset should be for these videos, okay? This is from a spiritual point of view. Now, the other disclaimer for this video I'm going to talk about with Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. I have met them, okay? I have met them. I have met Jada a few times, okay? And so please don't come for me about, oh, you just pulling from straws. No, I'm not. Okay? All right. So, you ready? Let's begin. Now, I think we're going into the area of what Jada and Will was of them being together, what the cheating and the open type of relationship, I guess, that they've given to each other in this whole spectrum of under their umbrella of marriage, and how that is with what happened with Will slapping the comedian and trying to say he's defending Jada, and then later on, I think it was this year, Jada coming out and she was just so surprised she didn't even know what that was all about. She was just, like, basically distancing herself from it. Okay, let's just look at this from an aerial view, okay? And this is from a spiritual aerial view. Will Smith has been in the industry, from music industry, then he transitioned into acting industry. That transition, he worked with Quincy Jones at the time, right? Into this transition. Jada Pinkett, coming from Baltimore, and also with Tupac, who I have met Tupac and I have worked with Tupac. So let's just put that also in the dot, okay? And that they've been friends for a very long time. They went to school together, the whole 9 yards. They've connected and everything, really good friends or whatever. But she also entered the industry. She also entered by way of acting, right? We saw that on the Cosby Show and the Cosby spinoff with Lisa Bonet going to college, and when she did Jason's Lyrics and etc., etc. We know Jada right now. Hello? Okay. So this is industry. And when you're coming in the industry, you're working at a certain level first, right? You're just like gaining your credits. You got to be seen, you got to be heard, you got to go through the whole thing. Then at a certain point, you want to go higher, right? You're making more money and you're getting projects and you want to go higher. This is what was happening to Will. So if you look at the timestamp of Will gaining his credits in the industry, and I'm talking about not just film credits, but there's behind the scenes credits, okay? Right? So that you can at some point buy airspace in the air, right? So no fly zone, right? You've done a lot of things. We all know Hollywood, how things go. And so Will was married before. Jada came into the picture. This tells me from a spiritual point of view and how this came in, because side note, Alicia Keys did the same strategy. Now I step back from that. This is a spiritual pack. Okay, this is a contract. And when I say spiritual, there's levels to this. There are lower realms of this and there are higher realms of this. Okay, and so when you make a pact, right, it moves you from one level of spacing to the next level of spacing. He could not do it with his first wife at the time. Jada came in, fit the scenario, it works. If you guys remember, this is all about transitioning and moving, and some of this is ritual and some of this is sacrifice, right? You'll just do whatever. So she did a rock band, right? Which was, had everybody side eye, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And it was different, and she toured a little bit and then they phased out, right? What was weird about it is that people had said, I have never heard you play no instrument. I have never heard you sing. There's nothing, where's the trail of that, right? And so you have to question, you're in, and of all genres, she was into death metal, which was like, girl, where did that come from? It was just like, but that's a ritual, and no one's able to pick up on that. If Will was leaning into that rap, rock, rap, rock, death metal rock or whatever, it would probably make more sense because there's a track record of him. With Jada, there was none. And then all of a sudden, wipe out, no more. Done. You don't even hear about it, nothing. It's gone. Right? And so for these new generations, it's probably like, what? Like, never heard. Right? So you have to look at what was that really? What was that really? Okay? What was that really? It's one thing, you dabbling your toes or whatever like that. But she's dabbled her toes in a lot of things. So from acting, directing, charity projects, blah, blah, blah. So my point is that with this whole, they've been siphoning each other's energy for a while to create the impact level that they're at. Now it's done. Okay, now it's really done. It's really done because there's scarring, emotional scarring, and also it's just no longer strong. It's just no longer, it's deteriorating. That means a sacrifice is coming, right? There's something coming down the pipeline. And it's necessary because there's a debt owed. And they've been holding on and creating all these levels of like how they're going to do their marriage and whatever. At some point it's dust, right? And they go their way. In other words, they don't want to never leave each other. I think that's really a bad decision if you just look at it plainly. But this decision, they will not leave. And they were together all this time. That's a spiritual pact. That's a pact of elevation in the system they have chosen to be in. Okay? And so her talking out, she's always been stifling. It's just that Will has been very quiet. And that's his character. It's not, he may be the actor, boisterous or whatever, but inside, like when you get him just to himself, and he's just really calm, like different. So, yeah. So stifle of energy, she showed it. Okay, like part 2.